Hey there YouTube, this is Danny Silva with D Silva Designs, coming to you with another sketch cover speed drawing. This one's based off of my Harley Quinn Princess Leia mashup print that I did not too long ago. I released this one, I believe, at Star Wars Celebration, and a client liked it, so he wanted a sketch cover done on a Princess Leia Blank variant Star Wars sketch cover. Those are done by Marvel, so he only wanted a bust sketch, so that's what I'm doing. Well, a bust is typically it's chest or shoulders up, but in my bust sketches I usually include down to the waist, so that's what we're doing today. And I'm using Copic markers along with Copic multi-liners. As far as the multi-liner sizes, the ones I typically like to use are point 0.1, 0.5, 0.3, and 0.8. Sometimes I'll use a 1, but that's rare. Anyway, so what I did here is typically when someone asks for a commission sketch, depending on, some people just tell me go crazy with it, they don't care. Some clients, I'll suggest that I'll send them a sketch, just a preliminary sketch, so they can take a look at it, make sure it looks like how they want it, or make sure that there's no misconceptions about the design or anything like that. And once they approve it, then I'll go ahead and ink it and get everything done for them. So that's what I'm doing here. That's why it was pre-penciled before I started the video. And plus I'd already done the drawing before, so it's not really anything new. But so at least you can see me drawing it. You can see kind of the inking and the coloring process. The reason why I use the Copic multi-liners is because I can ink beforehand, and I can go over it with the Copics and it won't smudge or smear, as long as you give it adequate drying time. What I'm doing here is I have a brush pen filled with a gray wash, and I use that sometimes. I use a fountain pen ink that it doesn't smear, it doesn't run when I go over it with the Copics, so that way I can kind of do some basic shading and still color on top of it and just get a darker color of that shade without having to worry about smearing the ink or anything like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what you're seeing here. Not too much else. I believe what I'm doing here is I'm kind of doing a lot of the finer details, probably with the 0.3. Most often I use a 0.3 and a 0.5. For the outlines, I'll do maybe a 0.8 or a 1. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I have another brush pen filled with another gray wash. This is a Pentel pocket brush. This is a darker gray wash than I was using previously, so I can get different tones. And now I'm breaking out another Pentel pocket brush pen. You can tell that I like pocket brush pens. This one's just filled with black. So I'll instead of using black on the areas that are when I do Harley Quinn, I'll for the black parts of her costume, I'll ink in black, and then for the red parts of her costume, I'll ink in a dark gray wash or something like that. And that way, when I go over with the red, it doesn't seem as dark as the black parts. So I'm kind of doing that with her hair because her costume is not going to have that much red in it, since I'm doing the typical Princess Leia costume on her. So I did two versions of this sketch cover. The previous one is in a different video, an older video, and that one's different people like different ones. Some people like this one, some people like the other one. Just depends. This particular client actually liked them both, and so they ordered one of each. One on a Harley Quinn sketch cover, one on a Princess Leia sketch cover. So, and this one's going to be a little bit different because the print that I did that using watercolors and a little bit of marker. So it's going to look different, but I like to use the markers on sketch covers because I don't have to worry about bowing or warping or anything like that. So as you can see here, I usually go in with my skin tones first. Try to go, with the darker colors, the lighter colors first, And her costume is the lightest, but I don't know. I always start with the skin tones, just get those out of the way, because there's usually, I guess depending on the character, it tends to go faster for me doing the skin tones. I don't know why. So now I'm going over with various cool grays for the costume. For her dress thing. And then I'm going over the belt here, adding some more cool grays and things like that. And I'll go into the mask. I'm starting to add a little bit more color, darkening up the nose, and then I'm adding some cooler shadows, going in with the reds, because the reds tend to smear the most. If you were to add the red first and then go in with the cool grays on the costume, then the Copics tend to bleed a little bit, so depending on the stock that you're using them on, so you run a higher risk of the red bleeding into the white. And since the white's very clean, I wanted to keep it that way, so I usually try to do the reds toward the last part. So I went ahead and did the hair. That was pretty quick, and now I'm just kind of throwing in a loose background, just something to kind of make the white pop of her outfit, so that way it's just not white on a white background. I can't remember, I'm using a frost blue for the background. Actually don't know what I'm doing the shadow now, because there was a shadow on my print, so going in with a blue. I think it's either a grayish blue or a manganese blue, I'm not sure. At this point I use them both for, depending on how I feel. So just kind of following my guidelines that I had created when I first penciled it. Should be almost done here. I'm just going to do some final details. I didn't like how blue that the shadow was coming out, so I decided to go over it with a cool gray, just to kind of make it a little less saturated, because it was standing out. It was standing out a little bit too much, and with a shadow, shadow is something that you don't really notice that much. So that's the great thing about Copics is, you can blend them pretty easy, and you can change the colors. If you lay on a bunch of colors over another color, you can almost eradicate the previous color. Or if you go kind of light with it, then you can blend the colors pretty good. Now I'm going back over my outer line because I thought it wasn't thick enough, and I wanted it to really stand out, so she kind of popped off the page. Didn't do that for the bottom half because it was only a bust sketch, and I kind of wanted it to trail off. And then I add my signature, and that's it. Hope you liked it. If you guys are interested in any commissions or any prints that you see here, just hit me up. You can hit me up here or on Facebook. My Instagram is at dsilvadesigns. Also, I'm going to be at Kamikaze this year, so in Artist Alley. So come by, check it out. Hope to see you guys. Take it easy.